Okay, with our magazine issue that we're having, the first thing we want to check is whether the magazine freely goes into and out of the frame, which it does. So that is that's our first step into checking that. Now we're going to go ahead without putting the trigger in it, because the trigger's basically irrelevant to this task. I'm going to go ahead and put our mag release back in and see where we're at. Now it is accepting that, but it is not dropping the magazine free. So the first effort we're going to make on this is to take our Dremel with a sanding disc on it. We're going to sand and polish this area right in here and see what that does for us. That should allow us some more clearance, because what's actually happening is the magazine is coming up and it's dragging on this because it's sticking out into the mag well far enough that it's causing it to hang up. So let me go get my Dremel tool and the various pieces for that, and I'll get back with you. We've got the Dremel out here with our sanding bit. And I'm going to pull you in here a little bit to kind of see what I'm doing. Ow! It's hot! And kind of our stop point on this is this right here, which is the actual magazine catch itself. And that's a part that we're not actually wanting to remove any material off of if we can help it. So basically what we'll do is we'll sand just a bit of this, put it back in the pistol frame, and try it. And we're almost there. We've got it fairly free, but I'll touch upon it just a little bit more. Okay, I'm betting that that'll do just fine there. We'll go ahead and reinstall, try that again. See how we're doing. Okay, so pull you back out here a little bit. You can see a little bit more overall picture of what's going on. We've got that, so that's dropping free. So that's good. Like I say, with our magazine release working well. One thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to take you out and show you this individually, is I'm going to take this out to the shop before I install this on its for its final install, and just polish over this outside just a shea bit. This is the part that's inside the pistol frame itself. Just going to polish over that with my carborundum wheel to remove the finish off of it and just fine hone it to see if it'll slide in and out of that frame just a little bit better. You guys have seen me do that before, so I'm not going to take you out, set you up out there, and then bring you back in and set you up. I'll just explain that I've done it. If you watch the tactical model 2011 Rock Island videos, you'll see me do basically the same thing, because I'm going to have to do it with the trigger bow and several other parts as I work along here. So as we're working this, I'm going to go ahead and as we're working on these parts and I do some of that, I'll spare you the having to run back and forth and reset up. Now, there are some things that I am going to do out in the shop that I do want you to see, and I will take you out there and reset you up for that. But like I say, some of this just finer polishing I'm not going to do. So let me go out there and get that. I'll show it to you after I get it polished up and before I put it back in the pistol, because I am going to re-blue it once it just feels a little bit gritty to me, so I just want to do that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back with you. Here you can see that I just polished that finish up. It did have a little burr in it right there, so that may have been what was making it feel a little gritty. And then again, just polished up the back side of that trigger bow. The thing came out of the frame so easily and nicely. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna have to polish the frame, the side rails on that, because it does feel so nice. And then, like I say, just hit it back with some cold blue. Get enough on there to actually do something. And of course, once you apply the cold blue to it, you gotta take it and rinse those parts off, and we'll go do that real quick. And one thing that did have happen to me with this process, it doesn't happen very often, but it has happened to me in the past, is occasionally I'll have a part that I take out and polish up, and it won't accept cold blue after that, and that's what's happened with this mag release. I think it just depends on the type of metal that it's made out of. But like I say, for whatever reason, it does happen to me on occasion. But no big deal, because we didn't polish any of the parts that are typically going to be exposed. Yeah, see, that's got a nice, good feel to it now. So, one of the things we'll do, since the trigger is coming in and out of the frame so well, not even requiring a tap, we'll go ahead and set that trigger back in there. Go ahead and put our mag release in. And that takes care of that portion of the assembly. Next thing we're going to look at is, let's set this aside. We know our mainspring housing seems to be fine, so we're going to look at this hammer and hammer bow here and see if we can figure out what the cause of our hammer flop is. I have a suspicion that since the mainspring housing is fine, that it's probably in this hammer bow. So let's just take a quick look, and yes, in fact, that is the case. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the hammer bow is about 1/16 of an inch short, maybe a full 1/8 of an inch short, and that's probably just enough to allow that flop. So what that's going to require us to do is that's going to require us to change out this hammer bow. Now, the good thing is I happen to have an extra one. The bad thing is usually it's a pain in the butt, because normally this pin that's right there that retains it has been peened in place, and it makes it very difficult to get it out. This one we might just get lucky with. Now that is something that I am going to take you out to the shop and show you. So I'll go ahead and stop this, get reset up out in the shop, and we'll show you the process of exchanging that out. Okay, we're out here in the shop now. Got our hammer here with our pin in it. What we're going to do is aggressively hit this with a BFH. Now that did start to go pretty easy, so I'm thinking that's not been peened in place, as most of the other parts weren't, so why should I think any different? So we're going to get lucky here. This is actually going to be pretty easy. This is the new one. We're going to stick that back in there. And while it wasn't peened in place before, it's going to be this time. Basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this punch and I'm just punching it right in the center. And what that does is that just ever so slightly spreads that pin out and makes it lock in tightly. So now that you've seen that, that was easy enough. I'm going to run over here to the other side again. I'm not going to show you this, but we're just going to polish off those flats right there real quick, and we'll get you set back up in the house and continue with our repair.